In this video, we're diving into the symptoms of a bad fuel pump. The purpose of the fuel pump is to transfer fuel from the fuel tank into the injectors, where they spray into the engine to mix with air and spark to create combustion. In many vehicles, especially modern ones, the fuel pump is typically located inside the fuel tank. This placement helps to submerge the pump in fuel, which helps to cool it and reduce the risk of vapor lock. Additionally, locating the fuel pump inside the tank also helps to reduce noise and provides a more consistent fuel supply to the engine. A malfunctioning fuel pump can manifest in various symptoms, indicating potential issues with the vehicle's engine performance. Let's explore the symptoms of a bad fuel pump one by one. The number one symptom is no start condition. When the fuel is faulty, it can fail to provide the necessary fuel pressure to start the engine, resulting in a crank but no start condition. It's a common symptom of a bad fuel pump that indicates the engine is not receiving fuel for combustion, despite cranking. The number two symptom is longer crank before start. A fuel pump that is beginning to fail may still provide some fuel pressure, but not enough to start the engine immediately. This can lead to longer cranking times before the engine finally starts. It's a sign that the fuel pump is struggling to maintain adequate pressure in the fuel system. The number three symptom is power loss. A weak fuel pump can't deliver enough fuel to match the increased airflow demanded by the engine, leading to a lean fuel-air mixture. This lean condition can cause a loss of power since the engine isn't receiving the necessary amount of fuel for efficient combustion. The number four symptom is check engine light. The check engine light may illuminate due to various issues related to a weak fuel pump, such as lean air-fuel mixture, engine misfires, or low fuel pressure. These issues can trigger specific OBD2 diagnostic trouble codes related to the faulty fuel pump. Later in this video, we'll discuss common trouble codes associated with a bad fuel pump. The number five symptom is engine stalling. Intermittent engine stalling may occur as a result of insufficient fuel being pressurized into the engine due to a weak fuel pump. This can lead to the engine stalling in various situations, such as during idling, deceleration, or acceleration. A malfunctioning fuel pump can trigger OBD2 codes. Here are some common error codes related to a bad fuel pump. The list of related codes is long, therefore, we have provided this information in the description with their meanings. Check in the description for more details. To diagnose the faulty fuel pump issue, you need to ensure that a faulty fuel pump is the root cause. To confirm the fuel pump is functioning properly, the fuel pump needs to be tested. Here's how you can test the fuel pump. In this test method, we check the fuel pressure. Testing a fuel pump begins with checking the fuel pressure at the fuel rail. The fuel rail is a metal pipe that connects the injectors to the fuel pump. The first step is to locate fuel rail and test port. Find the fuel rail in your vehicle's engine bay. This metal pipe connects the fuel injectors to the fuel pump. Look for the test port on the fuel rail. It's a small valve-like fitting where you'll attach the fuel pressure gauge. The second step is to prepare fuel pressure gauge. Ensure you have a fuel pressure gauge with the necessary adapters to fit the test port. You may need to refer to your vehicle's manual or consult an automotive store to ensure you have the correct equipment. The third step is to relieve fuel pressure. Before attaching the gauge, relieve any built-up pressure in the fuel system to prevent fuel spray. This can typically be done by removing the fuel pump fuse or relay and then cranking the engine a few times. The fourth step is to connect fuel pressure gauge. Once the pressure is relieved, attach the fuel pressure gauge to the test port on the fuel rail. Ensure it's securely connected to prevent leaks during testing. The fifth step is to turn ignition on. Turn the ignition key to the on position without starting the engine. This activates the fuel pump and allows you to measure the pressure in the fuel system. Finally, look at the reading on the fuel pressure gauge. It should fall within the specified range for your vehicle, which can vary depending on the make and model. When a car exhibits the symptoms mentioned above, and the fuel pump has been checked and found to be in working order, but the issue persists, it's essential to inspect, the other components of the fuel delivery system that exhibit the same symptoms of bad fuel pump. Issue number 1 is the faulty fuel pump relay. The fuel pump relay controls the electrical power supply to the fuel pump. If it malfunctions or fails, it can disrupt the fuel pump's operation, leading to similar symptoms as a bad fuel pump. The number 2 issue is clogged fuel filter. A clogged fuel filter can obstruct the flow of fuel to the engine, resulting in reduced fuel pressure and poor engine performance. Symptoms may overlap with those of a failing fuel pump, making it important to check and replace the fuel filter if necessary. The number 3 issue is a faulty fuel pressure regulator. The fuel pressure regulator maintains a consistent fuel pressure within the fuel system. If it fails, it can lead to either insufficient or excessive fuel pressure, causing issues such as engine stalling, hesitation, or rough idling. Inspect the fuel pressure regulator for any signs of malfunction and replace if needed.